Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Calorie Crush video. It's been an okay week. I have been extremely tempted this week by cakes. I've been very cake-minded. I'm always very cake-minded, let's face it, I like cake. So I can see the reflection of my glasses, by the way. I'm sorry if that's bothering you. There's not a lot I can do about it, short of close the window blind and then I'll be sat here in the dark. Yeah, I'm always tempted by cake, and I liked the way I used to eat. If you are new to my channel, you may not have seen the original video, which I will try and do that thing where you put a card in up here and that takes you to it. But if there's nothing here, I have not worked out how to do that. And if so, there's definitely a link in the description box anyway. The original video where I talked about why I wanted to lose weight, obviously it was obvious why I needed to lose weight, but what had finally brought me there, and the fact that I never wanted to change weight. I liked the way I ate. I never wanted to change my lifestyle. I liked my lifestyle. I still miss it. 2 years down the line, nearly. It'll be 2 years in August. Where are we now? April, so May, June, July. 1 2/3 of a year, is that right? Still don't like eating the new way. I still fight every day with the urge to return to my old habits because I was quite happy eating a packet of biscuits for breakfast, a couple of packets of crisps mid-morning, not bothering with lunch, having some cake in the middle of the afternoon, having a takeaway or going out for dinner, eating a bit more cake before bed. I was absolutely perfectly happy with that. I don't enjoy preparing food particularly. I'm fine at it. I'm perfectly good at cooking, perfectly adequate cook. I don't particularly enjoy it. As I've said before, I don't mind if I'm cooking for the family, but I get zero pleasure from cooking for myself, and that's whether I batch cook or either. I get zero pleasure from it. I'm just not interested, and I'm not very interested in the food when it hits my plate. I like choosing off a menu, having somebody else prepare it and bring it and going, oh, I did like the look of that. And my mindset hasn't changed, and I don't know whether it ever will. I don't think it ever will. You know, you like what you like, and I'm a lazy person when it comes to food. People assume, I've said this definitely before, people assume that if you are fat it is because you think about food all the time. But in my personal experience it's because I didn't think about food at all. I just ate whatever I wanted when I wanted. I didn't think about it. Now I think about what should I have? What could I have? Should I have that? What if I swap that for that? And it's boring. It's very boring. That said, I have had, as I said, an okay week. I've stayed within calories. I've not been particularly interested in any of my meals. I'm far more interested in the stuff that isn't meals. Somebody commented on one of the what I eat in a day videos, I've noticed that your dessert is as many or more calories than your main. Yeah, that's because I don't want the main. I would rather trim the calories off of the main to allow me to have the dessert. I'd rather skip the main altogether and just have the dessert, if I'm honest. I eat the main because I know I ought to. And I think if you are not of my food mindset, if desserts don't interest you, if you haven't got a sweet tooth, if you assume that fat people eat because they want to feel full, which we don't all eat. That, you know, I don't need to feel full to bursting. I need to eat what I like. It's the mind craving I'm satisfying, not the stomach craving. And I think if you perhaps don't have that mindset, if you're not on that level, if it not levels, but you know, if that's not how you think, then it may be difficult to understand. Because I think what people say is, well, if you had a bigger main, you wouldn't need that pudding. Do you know what would happen if I had a bigger main? I would have that damn pudding anyway. I don't have that pudding because I need it. I have it because it's the bit I want. So I could go, here is a 300 calorie main, and then I'm going to have a 400 calorie dessert, and I will have eaten 700 calories. And what that other mindset says, but if you had a 700 calorie main, you would be more full and more satiated for longer, and it would be healthier, and you would not need that dessert. And I understand that viewpoint. But what would happen is I would have a 700 calorie main, and for about 5 or 10 minutes I would feel quite virtuous. Oh, look at me, I've had a big main course so that I don't have a dessert. Didn't I do well? And then my brain would go, but you still want that dessert, don't you? And I could go, but I'm full. I know I'm full because I've eaten my 700 calories. I had it in my main, so I'm not hungry. And my brain goes, who said anything about hungry? You still want that dessert. And what would happen is I would have that damn dessert anyway. And I would, instead of having had 700 calories altogether, I would then have had 1100. I'd have my 700 main, and then I'd have my 400 calorie dessert. 1100 instead of 700. It's knowing how you would react to things. I know what I would do. I know that I would have it anyway. So it makes more sense to trim the calories off the bit I'm not interested in than to trim out the bit that I am interested in and end up with that feeling of I'm deprived, it's not fair, I want more, and go on and have it anyway. Like I said, I know that when you guys suggest things, you want to help. However, in that very first video that I put out nearly 2 years ago, one of the things I said was I'm not asking for suggestions. the only thing I really need help with is how to work on my willpower. So when I say to you guys, I have 2,000 calories a day and I struggle to stick to them, and then you say, but quite a lot of you say, well, you should be having 1,800. How on earth would that help me stick? If I said to you, I only have £20, but when I went in the supermarket, I spent £22, but the answer would not be you should have spent £18. It only works if you only eat what you've got. And the problem with calories is I don't only have that amount of food per day available to me. If I lived in a secure institution and they delivered 1,800 calories worth of food a day, I'd find it extremely easy to stick to it, wouldn't it? Because I would not have to be stopping myself. And it's stopping myself that is the issue and has always been my issue. I don't stop if I'm enjoying something. I will eat to the point where I'm not enjoying it any longer before I stop. If there's a whole cake and I'm enjoying it, I'll carry on until there's no cake. That's always been my issue. So it's willpower. And so when you guys say, well, you should be, maybe you need to have less calories, maybe I do. But if I can't stick to 2,000, how the flying Jeffrey am I going to stick to 1,800? It's learning to stick to it. It's my willpower that I am needing to address constantly. And lowering my calories will not increase my willpower. It will increase my resentment. And my resentment leads to rebellion, and rebellion leads to I'm going to have it anyway. It's my bloody body. I can inflate it like a blimp if I want to. I don't know if I get my point across. I really struggle to get you guys to understand, because I can see that I say this in a video and then somebody in the comments still says something that's contraindicative to what I've been trying to put across. So I can see that I'm still not getting you guys to understand where I'm coming from, and I don't know what to do about it. I am the problem. The number of calories I am allowed isn't the problem. Me sticking to them is always the problem. Me saying no when I want to say yes is always, always the problem. And until I get to grips with that, it's not going to get any better. Have a look at today's scales, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Last week I weighed 275 pounds. Monday, scales time. 273.8, I round that up to 274, that is a loss of £1. So that's £1 off. £1 is a loss, we should be happy with the £1. I would have been much happier if it had been a little bit more because of all that went on last week. However, I did have a snackcident this week, that was in the food diary. So you guys will have seen that happened. I had a snackcident, went over my calories. And I have not remotely this week attempted to watch my salt intake or anything like that. So, although I've been within calories, I've not necessarily yet well within my calories. Something else that people talk about is processed foods. You need to stop the processed foods, you need to eat whole foods, you need to cook from scratch. I don't want to. And whether or not I should, and whether or not it would help with weight loss, I don't want to. And if I don't want to, then again I will rebel against it. So I could be angelic with processed foods for a week. I could give up the Pepsi Max, except I couldn't give up the Pepsi Max. I'd be a bloody nightmare to live with. But yeah, people always, well, you should give up the Pepsi Max. I don't want to. And it is my body and my journey. And rebellious and childish as that sounds, I don't want to. There is no point me trying to do the things that I blatantly don't want to do, because I won't stick to them. As long as I'm not making you guys drink the Pepsi Max, and as long as I'm not making you eat the processed foods, at the end of the day, it is my choice to run my journey this way, isn't it? People only give stuff up when they are ready. I gave up smoking when I was ready, not when other people thought I should. I went on a diet when I was ready, not when other people thought I should. Other people knew that I should have gone on a diet years previously, but you can't do it until you are ready. Here's my pound going on. Total weight loss now of 7 stone, 8 pounds. So still clinging to that 7.5 stone, hopefully going back in the right direction. I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm ranting at people who try to help. What I'm saying is that the help that you are trying to give does not address the problem that I have. So I'm never going to be an earth-cooked type person. I'm never going to be eating whole grains and quinoa and turning vegetarian and giving up all the processed foods. I'm never going to be that person. I never wanted to be that person. I never ever said I wanted to eat healthily. I just said I wanted to lose weight. And I don't know even if this video will come across as so aggressive that some of you are going to be hitting the unsubscribe button. But let me just reiterate once more that it's not that I don't appreciate your desire to help. I so do. I so appreciate your supportive desire to help me, but unless you can give me willpower, you can't help me, because that's what I'm lacking, is willpower and urge to continue. This has been a funny one again. Every week I record these and I go, right, don't rant, Carla, don't start ranting, don't go off on a tangent, don't start blah, blah, blah. And every week I damn well do anyway. It is what it is. Thank you for joining me. And hopefully I'll have a good week. Hopefully I will make good choices and stop when I'm full. And I can't say hopefully I won't have dessert, because I don't hope not to have dessert. I want desserts. Maybe I should just go out and not have lunch, just have a dessert. The problem is then I'd want 2 desserts so that I had enough. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next week. Well, I'm back with my what I eat in a day diaries if you watch those. And if not, I'll see you next week for next week's Calorie Crush. Take care. Bye for now.